Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's B1 Level podcast. Today, we are starting a long, exciting story about a teenager named Emma, a hidden library, and a mystery that changes her life forever. Make yourself comfortable, because this is just the beginning of a very long adventure. Emma was 16 years old, and she lived in a small town called Brooksville. Her life was normal. School, homework, helping her parents at home, and occasionally hanging out with friends. She loved reading, especially old books with yellowed pages and mysterious stories. One rainy afternoon, Emma was walking home from school. The streets were empty, and the sound of rain hitting the rooftops created a quiet, peaceful rhythm. As she passed the old part of town, she noticed something unusual. A small door, hidden between two tall buildings, caught her attention. She had walked this street many times, but she had never seen the door before. Curious, she approached it. The door was wooden, with carvings of strange symbols and letters she didn't recognize. A tiny keyhole glimmered in the dim light. Emma felt a strange pull, like the door was calling her. "I wonder what's inside," she whispered to herself. She tried the handle, but it was locked. Then she remembered the old key she had found in her grandmother's attic a few weeks ago. Emma always loved collecting little things from old places, and this key was one of her favorite treasures. She took it out, inserted it into the keyhole, and turned it carefully. Click. The door opened slowly, revealing a narrow staircase that led down into darkness. Emma's heart raced with excitement and fear. She took a deep breath and stepped inside. The staircase twisted and turned, going deeper underground than she expected. At the bottom, she found herself in a large, dimly lit library. The smell of old books filled the air. Shelves stretched high into the shadows, filled with books of all sizes and colors. Some had titles in languages she couldn't read, and some had strange symbols on their covers. Candles flickered gently, casting moving shadows on the walls. Emma could hardly believe her eyes. She had always loved libraries, but this one was unlike anything she had ever seen. It was magical, mysterious, and somehow alive. As she explored the shelves, she noticed a small table in the center of the library. On it lay an old leather-bound book with a golden lock. A note next to it read, "To the one who finds this library, knowledge is the key, but courage opens the doors." Emma felt her pulse quicken. She picked up the book carefully. The lock clicked open as if it recognized her touch. The pages were filled with stories, secrets, and puzzles. Some seemed like ordinary tales, but others had instructions, riddles, and maps leading to places she had never heard of. Suddenly, she heard a soft voice behind her. "Welcome, seeker. You have found the first step of your journey." Emma turned quickly, but saw no one. The library was silent except for the gentle crackle of candle flames. The voice came again, this time from the book. "Every story here is alive. Every choice matters. To understand the library, you must explore, observe, and act. Are you ready to begin?" Emma nodded, feeling both nervous and excited. She realized that this was not just a library. It was a test, a challenge, and perhaps a gateway to something extraordinary. She opened the first page carefully. The text seemed ordinary at first, but soon the words began to glow faintly. Images appeared, showing a map of the town but with hidden passages and secret doors she had never seen before. She traced the paths with her finger, feeling a thrill of discovery. And that was the beginning of Emma's secret library adventure, A journey filled with puzzles, hidden knowledge, and unexpected challenges. Little did she know that the library would test her courage, intelligence, and heart in ways she had never imagined. Emma spent a few moments just standing in the center of the hidden library, her eyes wandering over the tall shelves, the glowing books, and the mysterious candles. She realized that this place was much bigger than it appeared from the staircase. Every direction seemed to stretch endlessly, and the shelves formed winding corridors that invited exploration. She turned back to the glowing book. On the next page, there was a puzzle. It was not a riddle of words, but of symbols. Strange shapes, patterns, and colors seemed to shift on the page. As she traced her fingers over them, the shapes changed slightly, forming a path leading to a marked location in the town map. Emma knew immediately that the library wanted her to follow this path. She felt both anxious and excited. The thought of a secret adventure in her own town thrilled her. She carefully closed the book, tucked it under her arm, and began walking toward the staircase to leave the library. As she climbed the stairs, she noticed something strange. Faint whispers seemed to come from the walls, not scary, but soft voices repeating a single word: observe, observe, observe. Emma shook her head. "I must be imagining it," she whispered. But she realized the library had already begun teaching her. Attention to detail would be crucial. Back on the streets of Brooksville, the rain had stopped, leaving puddles on the sidewalks. Emma followed the map in the glowing book, noticing small details she had never paid attention to before. Patterns on bricks, hidden signs on lampposts, and tiny doors in alleyways. Each clue guided her closer to the location marked on the map. After walking for almost an hour, Emma reached an old building at the edge of town that she had never entered. The building looked abandoned, but according to the book, this was the place she needed. The door creaked as she pushed it open. Inside was a small, dusty room filled with more books, strange objects, and a ladder leading down to a basement. Taking a deep breath, Emma descended the ladder carefully. The basement was enormous and filled with shadows, but as she moved forward, glowing symbols appeared on the walls, lighting her path. She realized the library had prepared this place for seekers like her. Every step required observation, patience, and courage. At the center of the pedestal was another book, larger and heavier than the first. This one had a silver lock. She tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. She remembered the lessons from the first book. Courage, observation, and understanding the environment were key. She examined the pedestal and noticed a small lever hidden beneath a carved stone. Pulling it, the lock on the book clicked open. She gasped as the pages revealed instructions for a more complex challenge. To find the knowledge you seek, you must solve the riddles of the town, speak with the hidden guardians, and prove that your heart is as curious as your mind. Emma realized that this adventure was much bigger than she imagined. It wasn't just about solving puzzles in a library. It was about discovering secrets hidden in her town, meeting mysterious characters, and understanding the world in a new way. She spent hours in the basement, studying maps, reading instructions, and making notes. Her excitement grew with every discovery, but so did her sense of responsibility. Every choice mattered. Every detail was important. The glowing books whispered softly, "Observe, learn, act, and return." By the time she returned home, it was evening. Emma felt tired but exhilarated. She knew that the library was not just a place of knowledge. It was a test of courage, patience, and intelligence. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and she was ready to face them. As she lay in bed that night, she thought about the glowing books, the mysterious maps, and the secret guardians.
She felt a thrill of adventure mixed with determination. The library had chosen her for a reason, and she would not let it down.
The next morning, Emma woke up before sunrise. The sky was painted in soft shades of pink and orange, and a cool breeze flowed through her open window. She could hardly wait to continue her adventure. Today, she decided, she would follow the clues from the second book and see where they led her in the town. Before leaving, she packed a small backpack, the glowing books, her notebook, a pencil, a flashlight, and a sandwich her mother had made. She whispered to herself, "Okay, Emma, be brave, be careful, observe everything." The streets of Brooksville were quiet at this early hour. Most people were still asleep. Emma followed the map carefully, noting the locations marked with tiny glowing symbols. Each symbol led her to a new discovery: a hidden courtyard behind a cafe, a small door in a library, a strange pattern on the bricks of an alleyway. Every detail mattered, and she made notes in her notebook. After a while, she reached a park she had never explored before. In the center of the park was a fountain, old and covered with moss. As she approached, she noticed a small, intricately carved box at the base of the fountain. The box had a combination lock, and next to it was a plaque with a riddle. "I have keys, but no locks. I have space, but no room. You can enter, but you cannot go inside. What am I?" Emma sat down on a nearby bench and thought carefully. She considered her options. She had learned from the library that every detail mattered. She looked around the fountain and noticed letters engraved on the edges. Slowly, she pieced together the answer: a keyboard. She entered the combination derived from the letters, and the box clicked open. Inside was a small crystal and a folded note. "The crystal will guide you to those who know the next secret. Follow the path of light and trust your heart." Emma felt a shiver of excitement. She had never imagined that a park in her own town could hide such mysteries. She held the crystal carefully. It seemed to glow faintly, as if responding to her touch. Following the crystal's light, she arrived at an old bookstore. The shop appeared ordinary, but when she entered, the air seemed charged with energy. The books on the shelves shimmered slightly, and a soft voice whispered, "Emma, welcome. You are learning well, but the next step will test more than your mind. It will test your courage." Emma's heart raced. She knew she had to be brave. A door at the back of the store opened slowly, revealing a staircase leading down into darkness. The crystal in her hand glowed brighter, lighting the path. Down the stairs, Emma found a room filled with mirrors. At first it seemed simple, but as she moved, she noticed her reflections behaving strangely. Some mirrored images moved independently, pointing her toward a hidden door. She realized that these mirrors were not ordinary. They were guardians of the library, testing her perception and courage. Emma carefully followed the gestures of the mirrors, stepping lightly and observing every movement. Her confidence grew as she learned to trust her instincts. Finally, she reached the hidden door, which opened to reveal a spiral staircase. At the top of the staircase was another small room, and inside a glowing book awaited her. The book contained more challenges, riddles, and secret locations in Brooksville. Emma realized that her adventure was far from over. Every day the library would test her, teach her, and guide her toward understanding secrets that only a brave and curious mind could discover. As she left the bookstore and returned home, the evening sky darkened, stars began to twinkle,
and Emma felt a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. She knew that tomorrow she would continue her journey, follow the crystal's light, and face new challenges. The adventure was endless, and she was ready. The next morning, Emma woke up feeling both excited and nervous. Her mind was still buzzing from yesterday's discoveries. She had learned that the library was more than a place of books. It was a living, breathing puzzle that challenged her curiosity, courage, and intelligence. After a quick breakfast, she packed her backpack again. The glowing books, notebook, pencil, flashlight, and the crystal she had discovered at the park. She whispered to herself, "Today I will discover something new. I will learn, I will be brave, and I will not give up." Emma followed the glowing crystal, which seemed to react to her movements, guiding her toward the next location. It led her to the edge of the town, to a place she had never visited, the old train station. The station was abandoned and covered with vines, but as Emma approached, the crystal glowed brighter, lighting a path between the old tracks. Inside the train station, she discovered an old train car. The doors creaked as she pushed them open. Inside, the seats were dusty and cobwebs hung from the ceiling. But at the very end of the car, there was a small table with an envelope on it. The envelope was sealed with wax, and the crystal shimmered in response. Emma opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a note. "To continue your journey, you must solve the challenge of the train. Look for what is hidden in plain sight, and trust the knowledge you have gained from the library." She looked around the train car. At first, everything seemed ordinary. The seats, the windows, the floorboards, they all appeared normal. But then she noticed small details, a pattern on a seat, a symbol scratched into the floor, and a faded sticker on the window. These were clues, and she remembered the lessons from the library. Observe carefully, notice the smallest details, and trust your instincts. Emma moved slowly, examining each clue. The symbols led her to a hidden compartment under one of the seats. Inside the compartment was a small, locked box and a keyhole that looked like it matched the crystal. She placed the crystal into the keyhole, and the box clicked open. Inside the box was a map of the entire town, marked with secret locations, hidden doors, and pathways Emma had never noticed. There was also a small note that read, "Your journey is only beginning. The library has chosen you because of your courage, intelligence, and curiosity. Follow the map, meet the guardians, and unlock the true secrets of Brooksville." Emma's heart raced. She realized that this adventure was much bigger than she imagined. It wasn't just about solving puzzles in the library. It was about exploring the entire town, discovering hidden places, and meeting people who knew secrets that few others could understand. As she left the train station, the crystal's light faded slightly, but she felt more confident than ever. She knew the town held many challenges, but she was ready. Each step she took brought her closer to understanding the mysteries of the library and the guardians who protected it. On her way home, Emma reflected on what she had learned. She had discovered that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was the ability to act even when afraid. Observation wasn't just looking. It was seeing details that others missed. Knowledge wasn't just reading. It was understanding and applying what she learned in real life. When Emma returned home, it was evening. She sat by her window, the glowing books spread out on the table, and wrote notes about her discoveries. She realized that her life had changed forever. The hidden library, the glowing books, the crystal, and the secret maps had opened a door to a world she had never imagined, and it was only the beginning. Emma's adventure had no end in sight. Every day brought new puzzles, new mysteries, and new lessons, and she knew one thing for certain. She was ready to face anything the library and the town could throw at her.